Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. I'll bet that probably most people out there have never even heard of Senator Joe McCarthy or the Army McCarthy hearings. These hearings happened in the 1950s. It was a long time ago. And at that time, there was a lot of hysteria about communism. And these hearings were basically communist witch hunts. And McCarthy, he capitalized on it like the way we see people doing today, hoping to propel his political career, hoping to find a way to the White House. He made accusations that the Pentagon, that the government itself, and that especially the media, Hollywood, oh, they had all been penetrated by communists. Matter of fact, there were communists everywhere. They were under our beds and hiding in our closets. So these Senate hearings were essentially witch hunts. People were smeared with the communist label even if they had nothing actually to do with the Communist Party. Even having a vague association with somebody who might have had a vague association with the Communist Party could get you in trouble. It was like an evil version of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. And lives were destroyed, careers ended, and people were placed on blacklists and even went to jail for no reason. If somebody went to a meeting during the 1930s because they were curious, this was used against them 20 years later in the 50s. And finally, CBS and the great Edward R. Murrow stood up to McCarthy and in a series of programs revealed him for the fraud that he was. McCarthy's hearings wound up being shut down. And he wound up being investigated by the same Senate that he had used to propel his investigations. And he died in disgrace. And the American people learned an important lesson, that it wasn't the communists who were a real threat to our freedom, but people like Joe McCarthy and his friends. And now here we are in 2015. And instead of communist hysteria, it's anti-Muslim hysteria that's sweeping the country. And yes, there is a real threat out there from Islamic terrorists. There's also a real threat out there from Christian terrorists and right-wing militia groups. But all of the hysteria is directed at the Muslims. And just like in the 50s, the real threat to our freedom is not coming from Islam. It's from those who are fanning the flames of that fear and hysteria. Thanks for listening.